411mania, the info mania. If you want to be manic about your knowledge, you go to 411.
Man, it's probably the best things that slice friend.
You the one that calls at 9. You're watching 411mania.com.
What up, this is Slaine, and right now you're tuned into 411mania.com.
You wanted to know what the 411 is, and you got that, motherfucker.
You're welcome.
What's up, this is Demrick, and you tuned in to 411mania. Bang.
What's up, this is Madchild, and you're watching 411mania.com. It's been amazing, actually, because I sort of realized after we set the tour up, this is like the worst time of the year to tour, right? Like it's after Christmas, and after New Year's, and everybody's partied out and spent all their money, and it's cold out, and everybody's been partying for 2 weeks straight, so it's kind of like a tough time to tour. So Vancouver was like a little lighter than I was hoping. You know, like one of my better shows in Vancouver was like the Commodore sold out, for example. So this was like the venue, there was probably like 400 people. I was a little disappointed, but it was like one of those shows that was at 9 o'clock and then it turned into like a dance club. But then Kelowna was sold out, and Fort Mac was sold out, and last night in Edmonton was packed. So I've been really, really happy with the results overall. People liked it a lot. It was very well received. We put it out as an EP, even though it's the length of an album. I just want people to get a good bang for their buck. I feel like I'm really lucky that I get the support that I do from my fans. When it's so easy to download music for free and they still support and buy my music, that like means a lot to me. So I want to make sure that I give the very best I can when selling a product. So even though we call it an EP, there's an album's worth of music on there, and I think it was great because people sort of, my solo career, even though I'm a veteran from Swollen Members, I'm a relatively new artist as Madchild. I've only really been around 2.5 years as a solo artist, approximately, maybe 3. So if everything's exciting and it feels brand new. So my first album is creeping its way up to going gold in Canada, Dope Sick, and was sort of considered like by my fans, I will say, like without being too confident, calling it sort of, you know, an underground masterpiece, if it's fair to say. And then I put out another album sort of just to keep things rolling called Lawnmower Man. So it was my second album, and people were like, well, you know, the album did really well, but it felt like it wasn't quite as well received, and the reason for that simply was that I made that album in 14 days. I spent like over a year making Dope Sick. So it was a masterpiece as far as what I felt that I was giving artistically. And then I made Lawnmower Man in 14 days, a song a day, bang, 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 and put it out. So it was very consistent as far as the sound. Switched On was just a collection of songs that I put together because I've just been stacking music for my next masterpiece, because I think it's really important to make sure that my next album is, I just want to keep doing better. That's the whole thing. It's like, it's no secret I'm 39 years old. I'm no spring chicken. It's no secret that I'm not a little kid. But I have a young mind and a young heart, and I have the hunger of a young artist. And I've set my life up so I live that way. I can live that way. And believe me, it takes a lot to restructure your life in a way that you're able to work on music 16 hours a day. You know what I mean? So my focus is fiercer than it's ever been. And to be honest with you, with Swollen Members, I never pushed myself lyrically to be the very best that I could be. And now as a solo artist, it is my goal to just simply become one of the best lyricists on the planet. And that's just my goal in life. It's as simple as that. So I think it was very well received. I just sort of handpicked some songs from a whole bunch of records that I have ready to go for my next album. And I think people dug it. It was cool. It was like a little more serious. It was a little more not as fast-paced, not as hyper as Lawnmower Man. It was a little bit more, I don't want to say the word boom bappy because I hate that word, but it was a little more, it's kind of, I don't really know how to explain it. It just had a little more substance to it. Super Beast, yeah, I changed it to Silver Tongue Devil. I don't want to get people confused. So, Switched On is an EP that just came out, which is actually the length of the album, so that's out now. My next release is going to be called Silver Tongue Devil, and I've been shouting out Super Beast for a long time, so thank you for paying attention and doing your homework. Super Beast will come out, but I want my next album to be Silver Tongue Devil, and it's just as simple as the art's already done by one of my favorite artists. I commissioned a piece of art, and I'm not gonna announce it yet who it is, but it's one of my favorite artists. So I commissioned him, I gave him the idea. He made an incredible canvas, which will be the cover for the album, and then I bought the art from him to add to my collection, because I'm starting to collect the art and I collect toys and the furniture, all that, you know, I'm into that kind of culture. So, that was just basically the reason. I was just like, I want this to be the next thing that comes out. So I have like a big deal with Sony in Canada, even though it's coming out through Battle Axe. We have a deal with Sony in Canada and a deal with Universal in America. But like there's one big sort of deal on the table, and I can continue to put out records independently with Battle Axe through distribution like we did with Switched On, and just kind of put it out there and let it do its thing. Or we can like get the machine behind it and really try to fucking get one in the net and maybe get a gold record again or something like that. And when I say that, just so you know, I'm not trying to make any, I'm not allowed to swear on this. I'm not trying to make any fucking radio hits. I'm not trying to throw any curveballs or do any bullshit. I've learned my lesson in life is to just do what I love, and if people accept it, that's great. So it's going to be, if you are a Madchild fan, it's just going to be me at my purest, rawest form. But I have come up with some things that I think are thinking outside of the box and going to the next level. And I feel like if you ever get to a wall, you just got to break that wall down and keep going. I feel like I've come up with some conceptual songs that will really connect with people. And that's something like I've been trying to show, I've been showing and proving my lyrical ability so much that I came to this sort of realization that I also want to make music that people can connect with. And I know a lot of people connect with my story. And every night that I do shows, and I get emails and texts and tweets all the time about how my music and how my life story has helped change other people's lives with my sobriety, with what I went through. And that's incredible. But I don't, and I talk about that kind of stuff here and there, but I don't do a whole ton of songs from start to end about one particular thing. So I was like, I think that's like a missing puzzle, and if I'm a fan of my own music, which I am, you know what I mean, and I want to hear the best Madchild I can hear, what am I missing? And I sort of had a good talk with some close friends of mine and stuff that I really respect and look up to in music as well, and we all just sort of came to the conclusion, just some more sort of storytelling songs about things that I've gone through. That's a good question. I think in theory, Jackal is the first single. We just didn't know I just wanted to put something out. So Jackal is, we put that out 2 months ago. That one's gonna hit 1 million for sure. It's on its way to 1 million. And that's gonna make the record. So I guess in theory that was the first single, but we just didn't know what the next release was gonna be when we put it out. So I guess this would be the second single. So we just kind of dropped that one on everybody. We didn't set it up quite the way that we did. There's something quite not right about the numbers with that video right now, because if you do the math, We have 1,000 likes already in 24 hours. And when you look at like other videos that I have that have 1,000 or 2,000 likes, it's like the number is quite high. And so this time there's something quirky going on, I think, where the numbers are still catching up. Like in 24 hours, it's only at whatever it's at, 20, 30,000, but it definitely like feels like it's still catching up. Because just by the amount of likes, if that makes sense, and the amount of comments. So I don't know what's going on with that video, but I feel like people are really excited about it. And generally speaking, people are excited about our first signing, Demrick, to Balance Records. I'm super excited about him as an artist. I think he's incredible. And I can see that he's like really, really like down to ride, and that's what I want to build with Kevin Zinger and Ivory Daniels. We want to build Battle Axe, the new Battle Axe Records, into something real and a brand that people can trust. And that will consist of eventually 4 or 5 incredible artists that people can rely on with sort of the same direction and vision and goal, and staying true to the concept of what we believe in as far as staying independent and making our own music without trying to please the machine or trying to do what the sheep are doing. We want, you know what I mean? To me, it's very important to be a leader, not a follower. And sometimes it takes balls and heart to do that. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not that easy to say, you know, like I have a few different managers, and one of them hit me up today like, I want to try to get you working with these new guys doing beats and this and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, as long as I can just do what I do. Like, just because kids are going like this now, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not 18 years old. Like, and I'm not gonna rap like I'm in grade 3 because it's popular. Like, I'm just not gonna do that. And it's not because I'm being stubborn. And I'm definitely not that guy that's getting older that just doesn't understand the younger generation, because I promised myself as a kid I would never become that guy. So I have my finger on the pulse of what's going on, and I love relevant music in general today. But we're talking about artists like Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, Absol, that whole sort of crew. I love, you know, of course, Evidence and Alchemist, and those guys are my brothers, and I love their music. And I've always, even though they've been like incredible friends, like great lifelong friends, I've always sort of looked up to them artistically. And Jason Goldwatch, for example, is a great, like a lifelong friend who is incredible at making videos. He's like one of the best. But as far as like rappers like Action Bronson, Danny Brown, you know, like Drake is my favorite artist. Like, I have my finger on the pulse of what is cracking off and what's popular today in a certain lane. Like, I love the whole Earl Sweatshirt thing and Vince Staples and a lot of these younger people coming up. I'm definitely like a huge fan of that, but I'm not a huge fan of people rapping, dumbing down their lyrical ability because it's trendy. I'm not a fan of knowing that you can do better, but you do less because you think it's going to do better. And 99.999 times out of 100, it doesn't work. And I tell you right now, because as many fans that I have, probably half of them are rappers now. Everybody raps, so it's so easy to rap now. We live in a completely different world than say pre-2006. Just do your best. Don't try to, oh, this is popular now, so I'm gonna try to do this. I see so many kids, oh, now this is popular, I'm gonna try to do this. And then they're like, they look at me and they're like, how come you're winning? Like, you came back from the dead 3 years ago and you're already killing it. Like, you know what I mean? I came back from the dead. And like, thanks to my family and thanks to Kevin Zinger and Ivory Daniels and my brother Evidence and Rocco, and especially my blood family and the guys in Swollen members, like, I wouldn't even be here today if it wasn't for those people. So I literally came back from the dead. Not only did I get a second chance at life, but I got a second chance at a career. And people are like, how the fuck did he come back and do that? And his simple answer is because I do my very best. And I just stay in my lane. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I was to try to take it to the next level by doing what I think, say, Sony wants me to do, and go like and I'm not saying in particular Sony wants me to, I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just giving you an example. Say an A&R person might want me to do this type of a song because they feel it's gonna work on the radio. I guarantee you that unless the song is real, like if there's nothing wrong with having success, and I want to be successful, and that is why I am, but I do it my own way. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of artists are scared to do that. They're scared to step out on their own and just say, I'm gonna be myself. So what am I, the super villain of Western Canada? Is that what I am? Then that's what I am. Is classified the clean cut, staying true to his roots, hip hop guy from the East Coast that stays in his lane and he made it big, staying true to what he did and didn't make corny music. Then that's what he is, and I'm proud of him for that. And I'm proud of Drake for what he did, and I'm proud of myself for what I've done. And all these artists have stayed true to themselves. But I see a lot of people trying to jump on bandwagons, and I think it's a big mistake to do. I'm extremely proud of what I've achieved. Traveled around the world twice. I came from rolling quarters for cigarettes, bawling my eyes out, wondering what I was going to do after losing $3 million, to being very, very financially comfortable, to buying a Mercedes G-Wagon, to being able to get whatever the hell I want, living in a beautiful apartment in West Hollywood, with furnished exactly how I want it. Like, life is incredible. I have my dog, Lola, and I'm like the happiest person I've ever been in my life. Literally the last 7 months of my life have been the first time in life that I truly understand like what the word constant joy means. Part of that is the weather. Part of that is the success. And part of that is leaving the monsters in the closet behind. Like, if I was to stay in Vancouver or Kelowna, say, where all these terrible experiences that I went through, and I'm responsible for what happened to me. But if I was to stay there, it's kind of like it was a constant reminder, and it's very easy. You know, I talk about a song, I'm mental. My song's called Mental. Like, I'm not trying to hide from people that I, have OCD and that I don't think I'm a completely normal person, and I call myself good crazy because I am a bit of a crazy artist. But I mean, who the fuck is normal? You know what I mean? Like, really? You know what I mean? Like, are you normal? Are you? Like, maybe you are, I don't know, but I don't think most of us really are normal. A lot of us are just scared to say we're a little crazy, but I'm a little crazy. That's just the way it is. I look in the mirror now and I like who's looking back at me. I'm comfortable in my skin for the first time in my life. I let a wall down. You have to understand, my whole life I've been romanticized by this whole other side of the fence, this whole darker, sort of egotistical, sort of mean world. And I fully embraced that world. And 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I completely walked away from that world, literally. Walked away from everything, everybody that I knew, and locked myself up in a loft that I rented, like I told you, at a time when I was rolling quarters for cigarettes, having to borrow money off the rent guy that was the real estate agent that was renting me the loft, and he believed in me, so he actually lent me money a couple times just so I could finish paying the rent, to where I'm at now. I am extremely happy. But am I where I want to be? Of course not. I'm not going to be satisfied until the next Hobson or the next Tech 9. It's as simple as that. And I'm going to achieve that. And part of the reason that I'm not there sooner is because I was not allowed to go to the United States. Now I'm allowed. I'm so thankful that I've been given a second chance. And I live there, and already in 6 months more has happened in my career than the last 10 years. I mean, I could sit and list off all the things that are on the table and all the things that are being worked on, but that would to take away all the surprises that are to come. But there's so much explosive, exciting things that are happening, and I'm meeting everybody that's in my life and my world now has something to do with what I do. I don't go and ask my friends for favors. They're like real, true, incredible, amazing human beings with good hearts, and they've evolved as human beings. And I've evolved as a human being, and I left this wall down that I had, this egotistical, I'm the coolest guy in the world, rolling with 50 guys. I let that wall down, and it's a very difficult thing to let joy and love into your heart. The word love, a lot of people, they come from where I come from, but that type of thing are scared to let that word love in. And that's why I love, like, for instance, Bob Marley so much, or Ben Harper, because they made the word love and the concept of love cool in their music. And I think I'm starting to do that in my own way. My music is very edgy, and it's very, the energy is very raw, but I'm also getting out this positive message without being a teacher, because I don't want to fucking hear anybody preach or teach things to me, especially when I was a kid. But there's messages that people are just grabbing onto without me even realizing that I'm giving messages. I mean, we rap, so we have to talk about what's on our minds, so we draw. If you're a real artist, you just draw from within. You just you draw from what's in you, create, and your thought process or whatever comes out is you're painting a picture with words. So whatever that is, even though it still might be abstract to a certain extent, people are latching on and they're getting things from it without me trying to teach anybody. So I think it's kind of a cool combination. To be honest with you, I'm just getting started now. I would have liked to give myself 5 weeks to prepare, but I have 3 weeks to prepare. So the last few days as we've been driving, I've been listening to battles on the drive, sort of hearing different styles. I actually have a whole suitcase I could show you, a suitcase that I brought full of rhymes. Like I brought a suitcase, I'm not joking, I'll show you. I have a suitcase. This whole thing, and I'm not exaggerating, is full of lyrics, maybe except for a few t-shirts on the top. So except for some Battle Axe t-shirts and some Battle Axe stuff, it's all just rhymes. So I definitely already have everything that I need. I just have to go through and put the pieces of the puzzle together. So I'm gonna tear the person's fucking face off. But I just need the time to sit down and actually piece it together. So it's not like I will just be starting from scratch. Someone's in trouble, I can tell you that much. But yeah, the good news is that in this 3 weeks, and the way that the tour is set up, it's like 3-4 shows, then I have 4 days off. So I'm gonna get to hold myself up in a hotel room like this for 4 days, uninterrupted, and just 16 hours a day to work on it, the way that I work on my music. So I have sort of 2 of those 4 days sessions to do that, and then I have like 6-7 days at the end of the tour to go hole up in a hotel in Toronto for like 6.5 days before the battle. So I do feel confident that I'll be able to put it all together. Would I have liked to have started 2 weeks ago and say that I'm already have half of it together? Absolutely, but I've been breaking my back to get, you know, Silver Tongue Devil ready. I've been breaking my back to shoot videos, just make as many songs as possible, as many great songs as possible. A whole another album, and I don't mean to confuse everybody, but I'm doing a whole nother album with Evidence, which is a dream of mine. Like, and he's like one of my best friends, but like it's like a dream that he came to me and was like, yo, let's do an EP together. Like, he just came as a friend, like as an amazing human being, and saw that I really did pick myself back up, and he's proud of me, so he's like, let me do this for you, knowing that it would help me. Like, it's a very generous gesture, you understand? And I was like, cool, and we worked it out, and it ended up, we worked it out into a whole other thing, and it's gonna now be a whole album. And I am so excited for people to hear that record. Like, we don't know what it's called yet. We're 10 songs deep already. There's some amazing, incredible guests already on it. Like, it's gonna be, people are gonna lose their fucking mind when they hear this record. And I have this whole thing I'm doing with Mishka Clothing, which is like a very cool brand for people that don't know. They have a store in New York and LA and San Francisco and Tokyo. It's like one of the very up and coming, very super cool clothing brands, like with, you know, like sort of like the Hundreds or Supreme, that kind of world. It's that kind of street culture clothing. And like, man, I'm just like, all this shit has happened in such a short period of time. Just because I'm in LA now, you know what I'm saying? So. Well, it's a natural thing to start working with my friends again now that I live in LA. So working with Evidence was a natural thing to happen that I'm super fortunate and happy to be doing. I would imagine I'll be swinging by Alchemist's house because he's invited me a bunch of times, which is an extreme honor. So these are guys that I started out with. These are the people that we made our first records with. Our first albums were always, Rob the Viking was always in Swollen Members after Balance, but we always had production back then from Alchemist and Evidence. So it's so exciting for me to start making music with them again. Yes, it's a solo thing, but Prev has his own life, you know what I mean? I have my own life and Rob has his own life. Like, the reason we're able to be a group a decade and a half and still get along so great is because we don't like kick it like we're homies. We're a group. We love each other as brothers, but we don't call each other up unless it's business related. You know what I mean? Like, everybody, at that point, if you're still a group, you know how to give each other space. And a lot of people don't make it that far. And to have the bond that the three of us have is an incredible bond. But hey, we're happy to see each other at the beginning of a tour, and then we're happy to say, all right, we'll see you on the next tour. And it's always happy to see you and then happy to say goodbye. Like, 15 years is a long journey. And those guys went through the most incredible stories that you could ever think of, most wildest ride you could ever think of, and the most lowest point that I could ever take someone. Like, they had to ride along with me through the ups and downs of this crazy life that I've lived, because they're in a group with me, you know what I mean? So I don't want to start getting emotional about that stuff. Like, it's like a second family, really, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you love your family, but as you get older in life, you don't call your mom you probably every day anymore, and you know, like, usually, maybe some people do, but you know what I mean? The love is there. You know, it's an unconditional, unquestionable love. So you don't have to keep in touch like you would, and social lives change, and Prevail has grown into his own person, and he has very many interests, and he's a very cultural, very sophisticated, very intelligent person. But we just have different interests. Rob and I have some more of the same interests, but he's a family guy now. He has 2 kids and a wife. I have a Chihuahua. And like, I'm living like I'm 25 years old because I feel 25 years old. And that's why my solo career is the main focus, and Swollen Members is just, you know, we tour and we will put out another record, but when people are ready for it, there's no rush. And I think that the next record we put out as a group needs to be a masterpiece. And I think that there needs to be time for people to really want to hear that. Does that make sense? Like, Dilated Peoples waited 6 years to make the next record, and it was a masterpiece. And they will be able to tour as much as they want off that record because they made an incredible record. And I'm not saying we're gonna wait 6 years to make our next record, that's not the case. But Rob the Viking and I still work daily. So we have a constant working relationship. So for example, Slaine makes incredible beats. He's like a beat factory. Bang, 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 he knocks them out. But Rob the Viking is a genius. And I don't wanna like lose that genius touch in my music. So we have a great arrangement where he's happy that he's able to be a father and a husband and stay home. And yes, we're going on a European tour together right after I do this Canadian tour with them now joint. But so that'll be cool. Like, we gotta go out and you know, everybody's gotta eat, so we'll go out and tour and make some money. But we also have like a great arrangement where he can make you know, he works with me, like, you know what I mean? Like, we work together. So I call him Rob the Viking the Finisher, and I call Slaine the Killer, and Madchild the Conqueror, and together I call us a triple threat. You know what I mean? It's just like a little joke I can say between the three of us. I say we're the triple threat, but it's like such an incredible combination. And that's gonna be a huge part of Silver Tongue Devil, is that I'm getting these incredibly energizing beats that Slaine does. But now Rob the Viking, and I feel kind of like a little bit like responsible for bringing these two together and being like, why don't you guys work together? Because then I'm getting the best of both worlds. So I feel like I've got this really special thing going on now. I've got these two geniuses of what they do, but Rob can come in and he pays attention to every little detail, and he'll come up and he comes from the generation I come from, where you switch things up and you do drops and sound effects and make sure everything is lined up perfectly, instead of the beat just being a continual loop. You know, he'll come in and turn it into a masterpiece. So that's why, like, people were hearing the new song Mental, which is the first I think the first or second example that people have heard of me working with the both of them together, and they're like, wow, this is a crazy Slaine beat compared to the ones he was normally getting. Yeah, because it was a Slaine beat, and then Rob the Viking came in and added his magic to it, and now I've got this incredible new sound. I'm super excited. So those are the people that I will continue to work with, the main people. Am I gonna meet new producers? I'm sure. But I think that's kind of my main places. Oh, and Aspect is a very talented young producer from Canada, and I like working with him. Yeah, we know that we need to sit down and pin down an album. Everybody's just been so busy. He's also in La Cosa Nostra. You know, I just got asked to join this crazy group that I can't say what it is. Like, one of my heroes. Like, I don't even know if I can do it. Like, I just have so much on my plate. Like, and it's like a dream come true, who just asked me to like be a part of this thing. Like, it's a dream. It's like my childhood dream. Like, to get asked by this person to join this group. I don't even know if I can do it just because there's so much on my plate. But Slaine is a battle axe warrior. He's going to be a battle axe artist. We will definitely do the Supreme Villain album. I just made an incredible record with him and Demrick that'll be on Silver Tongue Devil. We're going to shoot a video for that in Toronto right after the battle. So yeah, you know, he's also going through his journey of being 9 or 10 months sober now. So, you know, we were all hyped up on the Supervillain thing, and then he had to like get on the right track, and I'm so proud of him, so fucking thankful and happy. And he looks amazing. He looks the best. I can't believe how I saw him just right before I left, and he looks so good and so healthy, and I'm so proud of him. But that first year of like sobriety is like, that's a journey, and that's like it's a process. You know what I mean? So it's like I have to give him time to meet himself again completely, if that makes sense. And I'm not speaking on his behalf, I'm speaking on my own experience. But when I got sober, I had to find myself again. You know what I mean? And it doesn't happen. Thank you everybody for your support, it means the world to me. Without you guys, I would be working a job or I would fucking hate that. So thanks to you guys, I'm able to do what I love to do and make a good living doing what I love. And I couldn't be more thankful, I couldn't be more happy. I really truly feel I have the best fans in the world. Like, I know a lot of artists say that, but like, I got the fucking best fans. Like, do I want to cause more awareness, and do I think that more people should find out about my music? Absolutely. But I've got this amazing core following that I'm so thankful of. And I really truly feel like they're my extended family. So I want to thank you very much for your support.
Took